Hey everyone, I'm Casey Hollins, and you're watching the Sportsnet Digital Dose. We've got Jim Lang in studio from Sportsnet 590 The Fan, and we are just mere days away from the biggest football day of the year and possibly the biggest eating day of the year too, but that's another story. I'm getting pretty excited, and I know there's lots to look forward to. I want to know from you what you're most excited about with this game. Ravens, 49ers, it's a crazy matchup, and there's tons of storylines, but I want to know what you're most looking forward to.
Well, this is where it all starts, the serious preparation for the game on the Wednesday. Media day is Tuesday. They arrive. I know the Ravens arrived on Monday, the 49ers on Sunday. But this is where everything gets back to work. The players only have a couple more days where they are available to the media before they get into lockdown for the game. And this is where a lot of the serious details of the game plan will be worked on, and that sort of a fine edge will be honed until Sunday, Casey. A lot of what I'm looking at is certain matchups. Both these teams are very similar and very equal in a lot of ways. They both are very good at running the football. I think I would give the edge to San Francisco. They have very big offensive lines, very tough defenses. Again, San Francisco has a bit of an edge. The Ravens have a couple future Hall of Famers in their defense, and Ray Lewis and Ed Reed. What makes them a little bit different is how they attack teams. We've seen what Colin Kaepernick and the 49ers can do running the football and throwing. But something emerged late in the season with the Baltimore Ravens. They did something that's not very typical of teams, firing their offensive coordinator towards the end of the season, Cam Cameron, and replacing him with the former head coach of the Colts, Jim Caldwell. Well, that was a very, very smart move for John Harbaugh and the Ravens, because the offensive line sort of gelled and became very cohesive and a lot more effective. Michael Orr from the blind side was moved to the right side. Brian McKinney really found a nice niche in the left side of the offensive line. They became very balanced, making sure that Ray Rice and Bernard Pierce were running the football to keep teams honest. And Joe Flacco's ability to throw the deep ball has really gone to a whole nother level in the postseason. And that's, to me, the key matchup, Casey. The Ravens receivers, who have a big, tall speed burner in Torrey Smith, who can really stretch the field, and you have a very physical, tough receiver, possession receiver in Anquan Boldin. Anquan Boldin leads all receivers in the postseason in first down catches. So when Joe Flacco and the Ravens need to make a first down, almost always they're looking towards Anquan Boldin. He's bigger than all the DBs he's going to face. He's very strong physically, and he's very tough. He can be hit. If you look at the game in their win over New England, there were many times where Flacco was throwing the ball to Boldin, even though they had safety help over the top, knowing Boldin would get hit, but they trust that Boldin's so big and strong he's going to make the catch with his hands, pull it into his body, take the hit, and not fumble the ball. And conversely, with Torrey Smith, you have a kind of player that if a cornerback or DB doesn't have a good position and isn't sound, he's by them. And Flacco has the arm strength to get it to him. You look what he did against Champ Bailey in the game against the Broncos. Champ Bailey, quite frankly, was embarrassed. 3 catches for 98 yards and 2 touchdowns by Torrey Smith. That's what he brings to the table. And I had an email conversation with Marvin Lewis, the coach of the Bengals, this week about how San Francisco deals with the Ravens. And he said, by far, when you game plan for the Ravens, you have to figure out a way to take away Torrey Smith, because he can beat you deep. And the way Flacco's throwing and the confidence he has right now in the postseason, he has the confidence that he can get the ball deep down the field and burn the 49ers defense with a deep pass.
Well, there are going to be a lot of eyes on Flacco. And also Kaepernick, obviously. Alex Smith is going to be watching Colin Kaepernick as well. That's kind of unfortunate. But I think a lot of eyes are going to be on Ray Lewis. He's by far the most polarizing person in this Super Bowl, and he's been being talked about a lot, and there's new stuff coming up. People are obviously bringing up his history and the last Super Bowl he was at, and what
deer antler spray
and what transpired. Yes, and then the latest thing at Media Day was they were saying that he used deer antler spray to heal his triceps and come back faster, and just all kinds of controversy. Some of it seems legitimate. You know, some of it really did happen, and they're kind of dredging it up for their own purposes, but some of it maybe is just, they're talking about Ray Lewis, he's going to retire. They just kind of want anything they can talk about. What do you make of all of this stuff?
Well, Ray Lewis, there's 2 really Ray Lewises at play here. I mean, there's Ray Lewis, the player, and Ray Lewis, the public figure. Ray Lewis, the public figure, is very polarizing, as you say, Casey. He rubs a lot of people the wrong way. A lot of people have trouble with his past. A lot of people don't like that it always seems to be about him. But think about Ray Lewis, the player. Since he's come back from the injury, In the 3 postseason games, he has 44 tackles. He leads all defensive players in the postseason with tackles. So he has made a good on-field contribution. He doesn't have the speed he did, say, 10 years ago when he was a lot younger, but that's understandable. But he's brought a sense of leadership to that defense, if you can say. He's not the only important piece to the Ravens defense. I think getting Terrell Suggs healthy has helped.
Yeah.
Paul Kruger's been a big part of it. Ed Reed is to me, for my money, the best ball hawking safety I've ever seen for his ability to make plays. I mean, they have a lot of things working for them, but the return of Ray Lewis gave them that emotional spark to push them over the limit. The Ravens defense is good, but I mean, the last time they won the Super Bowl, they won basically because of their defense. Their defense was so good. It set records. This is not the same kind of defense. The defense bends a bit. They can be scored on. They can make plays. The Ravens, quite frankly, have a far more explosive offense and it can throw it more than they ever did. But Ray Lewis, I think, brings a lot of the emotion together. He makes sure everyone's focused. He's been there, done that. He can make sure everyone, when they step in the field, are playing for everything, blocking out all the distractions that comes with the Super Bowl. And at the same time, he is making plays. He is important in their run defense. He doesn't have the speed maybe to run with a guy like Vernon Davis, who's a very, very fast tight end. But how he matches up against a guy like, I think a guy like Frank Gore or Michael James, the 2 main running backs for the 49ers, will be crucial to the Ravens because the 49ers will try to run, and Ray Lewis will be one of the lead guys that it will be called upon by the Ravens to stop that running game, and he has to be efficient and effective if they're going to control the 49ers in the run game.
I always say, I mean, you can't, a lot of people don't like Ray Lewis, but as a person, but I always say if you don't like him as a player, then maybe you don't like football or you don't understand it very well because he's good at what he does.
He's very good at what he does.
And this is going to be his last game, so I'm expecting.
Yes.
Some people don't like him because he's maybe a little bit showy and over emotional, but
just a bit,
just a little. But you can probably expect that, like
yes.
on a whole nother scale on Sunday because it's his
yes.
last game. He's going to be like the laying it all out on the field and leaving it there is going to take on a whole new meaning. Now, before I let you go, I do want to get your predictions. Who's going to win?
This is going to
put your money on.
Well, I mean, this is going to be a very physical and close game. This is either team who wins. I don't believe it'll be by a wide margin. They're just too good on both sides of the ball and too close. I really like Colin Kaepernick. Don't get me wrong. I think he's a tremendous talent. But this is only his 10th start of his NFL career. It's in the Super Bowl against a very experienced and savvy Ravens team and a Ravens defense. This is Joe Flacco's time. I mean, if you look in the last few years in the Super Bowl, quarterbacks who got hot through the stretch drive, Aaron Rodgers a couple years ago, Eli Manning last year, were able to carry that through to the Super Bowl to victory. And right now, there's no quarterback who's hotter throwing the football than Joe Flacco. And I think Joe Flacco is going to be the difference in their ability to throw deep and try to exploit maybe a few weaknesses in the secondary of the 49ers, and they're going to win a close game by 3 points.
By 3 points. There you go. You heard it here first. Anyway, thank you so much for coming in.
Thanks, Casey.
And check back in a little bit for another Sportsnet Digital Dose.